Hello my creep, hello new peeps. Welcome to Super Fast Tortoise, and today's Super, we are digging into a deeper subject of cube design. When can good stuff be bad? Cube size matters. Good stuff gone bad. Yeah, that stuff. The small 360 card cube does not act in the same way as a large 720 card cube, which we are going to be talking about today. All good stuff does not balance out well in a larger cube format. You can dress your cube with fancy alternate arts, put in all the good stuff you want, and if you can't communicate to players through your cards the synergies and strategies that you want, you're going to have a lot of boring good stuff decks and very uneven power levels. I mean, you are going to see a lot of the same interactions over and over again. You will not see growth or good diversity in your cube. Power levels, they will just be way off. And that's fine, and you would expect repetition in the smaller 360 card cube. But still, all good stuff can be bad, especially in a larger 720 card style cube, because size makes a difference. Size matters. In set design, you'll find out that large cubes need more love. They need more attention and astuteness in the design process. Because larger cubes offer more mixed strategies and deck designs, while having high variance, and instead of repetition like smaller cubes offer, your draft pack variance needs the correction that it deserves. To put it more simply, the larger cube requires more attention to detail than a smaller cube does. Because the more cards that are in a cube, the more control a cube designer needs over the draft packs, and that will make a difference. Because balance issues are a thing. They really are, and they get worse with increased cube sizes. The power level in a large 720 card cube is hard to maintain. You can't just slam all the good stuff in it and call it a day. Especially if you want a smooth, good draft experience. See, a 360 card cube will be entirely drafted in an 8-player game, where a 720 card cube will not. This brings high variance to draft packs. Well, let's look at the facts. Good stuff matters, you need a lot of it. You don't want to have a lot of signpost cards because that breeds jank packs. And in a large 720 card cube, you can't have a well-balanced cube with only good stuff. These facts hurt. They suck, but they are all true. You need an emphasis on deck support like great mana fixing, good card draw, and a balanced creature removal throughout the entirety of the cube. So let's start with a few ideas I think will help. For example, take archetypes do matter, and they need to be fleshed out and characterized. Archetypes in cube, you want people to be attracted to your archetypes and synergies. Don't just focus on putting just good stuff in your cube, because all good stuff is a hindrance. I mean, a draft is no fun if only one person opens up each of their packs with the best of the best cards in it and they get to swipe them before anybody else does. So put an effort into defining your archetypes. Flesh out the different archetypes and tweak around their mannerisms. Meaning, if you want to run Grizzlebrand in your cube, for example, you want cards like Graceful Restoration, Tasker the Golden Fang, Hymn of Rebirth, Resurrection, Chainer Nightmare Adept, Teneb the Harvester, Cedrus the Treader King, and more cards like these. This opens up the parameters of the decks that want to run Grizzlebrand, and if you want to run the big chonky Grizzlebrand, you have to think about how all the 5 colors would use him. On top of having a solid amount of mana fixing, card draw, and basic reanimation spells throughout the entire cube and multiple colors that make it flexible, you have to dig deeper. And you have to make Grizzlebrand a good card to draft, not for one archetype, but for all decks that want him. So, do not be afraid to twist your definition of what a signpost card is. If you want to run any archetype in your cube, you must run signpost cards, but the best signpost cards, not janky signpost cards or non-pickable crap. No. And one of the best ways to install signpost cards in Cube is putting in card types like tutors and conditional card draws, like Enlighten Tutor, Thirst for Meaning, and Open the Armory. Tutors that specify an archetype. Notice how flexible these tutors and draw spells are, and think of how good they are on their own. The same goes with reanimation signpost cards. You can run Unmarked Grave, Buried Alive, and Breaking and Entering, to which self-mills like card draw to a reanimated player, and are good clear signpost cards, and they are good on their own. Cards like these are honest to the players, and attract people to the archetypes, no matter how derpy they may be to others. Also, it builds trust to the player by saying this theme is supported. Which brings us to another concept. Fill outside colors with signpost material for other colored archetypes. In Cube, you have to find synergy in your different strategies. Look for cards that make archetypes flexible. For example, non-reanimation style cards with flashback are amazing. As a few examples, white don't deal with reanimation much at all, at least in my cube. So cards like Increasing Devotion or Lingering Souls can be amazing. Or having Devil's Play in red to be flexible in graveyard strategies is amazing. Just great. It's solid thinking. Or how about putting in Sun Titan as a good reanimator target that can push a reanimation theme to be more valid in a third colored deck. Imagine using Plarg, Dean of Chaos as a way to throw a big creature in the graveyard, and he's just a good rummaging creature. Cards like these serve their own purposes, but blend in their reanimation strategy seamlessly, and they evolve as good cards for reanimator themes. As you can tell, I favor reanimation a lot, so let me expand on another theme. How about a non-creature archetype like Kaikar, Wind's Fury, or Elsha of the Infinite? A prowess theme? Enchantments like Banishing Light, Oblivion Ring, Detention Sphere, and Stasis Snare fit in this category of non-creature cards, but are meant for the enchantment strategy as well. Cards like Fervor and Swiftfoot Boots work as non-creature spells, and don't forget Planeswalkers, like Jace the Mind Sculptor, are non-creature spells too. See, if you can open your mind to finding what cards do well in certain strategies but are not specific for a archetype, but can fit in both a strategy and an archetype of different types, this will work wonders. In my cube, I made Bant specific for auras, and Jeskai Voltron, like enchantments, equipment, two different themes. So 4 colors have to compete with each other. So Bant decks have to compete with Jeskai decks that want the same kind of cards. This forces synergy between 4 different colors, so themes have to blend in. The same with reanimation in my cube. I made Grixis and Sultai colors all about reanimation. And again, 4 different colors have to compete for the same kind of cards, and yet it works wonders blending in the flavors and themes. While other color combinations have to follow suit, especially having to round out every other color to blend in with the alternate themes and strategies to fit the narrative of the cube, like being pillars for a greater purpose, for a greater cause, pillars to support the entirety of the cube to fit their archetypes. The main emphasis being you need to work on your cube to be flexible and able to be malleable for the narrative of the cube. And in this, I guarantee this will shine during drafts if you follow suit. The more attention that you put into the relationship of your cube and the blending of its archetypes and themes, the more your draft and games will function more like a solid board game, which is what you want. Draft in a box. The point I'm making is that a 720 card cube, the only good stuff way of thinking does not work at all, because it throws off the power balance, and you need to be creative and set the parameters of your archetypes to blend them in. That is where signpost cards help out a lot. And remember, signpost cards don't have to be jank. So the good stuff only style of thinking does not work in 720 card cubes, but make sure every card is good and has its purpose. And that, in a tortoiseshell, is when good cards can be bad in large cube design. Cube size matters. Good cards gone bad.
I shined my shoes, pressed my pants, did my homework. I do my homework now.
Well, it's called the internet, and it's completely revolutionized the way we live and access vital information. For example, have a look at this.
Do you need a website to help you maintain your cube, help you gauge your power levels, give you analysis on your cube, and is very user-friendly? Go to cubecobra.com. This free-to-use website offers everything I mentioned and more. It works on your mobile device with ease. I use Cube Cobra for my own cube, and the website has performed better than others that are like it. If you have a cube, you should check it out yourself. That's cubecobra.com. Do you need a quality case for carrying your cube around? Want a product you can trust? Go to CacapocotCG.com for your MTG cube needs and more. They have high quality cube gaming carrying cases at affordable prices. I've had my own case for more than 5 years now, and man, I can't express my confidence more than just making a non-sponsored commercial for this company. You don't need to be paid or sponsored to shill for high quality products like these, so go and check out CacapocotCG now, and be amazed and rest assured you're in good hands.
Wow. Now that's vital information.
I know, it's amazing.
I'll say special, look at this!
You didn't say the magic word.
Welcome to the Tortoise Top 10 Cards. Today we're featuring Champions of Kamigawa. These are cards that I like from the set. These cards I love the most from the set. A lot of them are actually in my cube, and I own a copy of every card on this list. And we start with Kodama's Reach. This card is a classic mana fixing staple, and I love it. Then we have Kokusho, the Evening Star. This legendary dragon packs a punch and lifts my spirits.
Are you lost but seeking? Azusa is too.
And she makes the list because she's amazing for the landfall strategies, and she has found her way into my cube. We conclude with Ghostly Prison at the 7th spot. Good old classic Ghostly Prison has been a favorite for years. Being an enchantment player myself, this card shines for me. And we also have Kaiga, the Tristar. This blue legendary dragon has been a favorite of mine for years. Being a BAMP player like myself, and I love stealing my opponent's creatures, you can only imagine the love I have for this card. And in the time of need, you should run this card. This card is really good. It's a great tutor for your cube and is great in Commander. I love this card. At the number 4 spot, we have Gifts Ungiven. This illustrious card fetch spell speaks to my heart, my soul, my essence. Everything with this card, even its faults, are still strong and beautiful.
Do you hear the skittering sounds of Nezumi Grave Robber?
Who flips into Night Eyes the Desecrator? This card is absolutely fun and still sees play in a lot of cubes and in Commander. This card is just adorable and finds its way at the number 3 spot of this list. Glimpse of Nature. This card is just solid, and I love it. Drawing cards off casting your own creatures for a single mana is crazy good, and that is why it makes my number 2 slot. And at number 1, this card needs no introduction. This card is amazing and it's seen played by most players, a lot of players, maybe too many players, but this card is just that solid. We have Sensei's Divining Top. No explanation needed for why this card is number 1, and I hope you enjoy this card as well. This card is amazing. And that brings us to the end of the video. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Super Fast Tortoise. Please share this video with anybody building a large cube. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Until next time, my friends, play wise.
Gaze into the face of fear. Booga booga! You see, even now the terror is welling up inside you.
Are you crazy?